All right, guys, here we are.
We're back.
We're back after a long year and a half hiatus.
It's been that long. Huh?
When was the last show?
It was, I would say, I think it was summer of 2018. I think we did.
It was like beginning of the summer, I think.
Yeah,
it was solo.
It was. We were doing a solo, and we were talking about Infinity War. There was a few Deadpool 2. I know we talked about that. We were going into the whole Marvel.
Probably,
Fox
I think it was about
acquisition.
June 2018.
I think it was.
Didn't we go see Ant-Man?
Yes,
Ant-Man
we
come
saw
out?
Ant-Man.
Wasp.
Yeah, and we
First
thought
Wasp.
we were going to be talking about that, but then we lost our connection.
Alright.
So
Well, we're back.
we're back, and we'll treat this as episode 1 of the Movies That Don't Suck podcast. We're going from this point, and guys, I think we'd be
We're back, but Eric's obviously been on the Instagram, been
Doing the
what we're
Instagram.
doing, so
keeping up on all the good stuff, all the news, all the entertainment.
So let's just jump straight.
Jump straight in.
Alright.
Look, we have to talk about it. A little movie coming out at the end of the week called
It's a
Star
small
Wars
movie.
Episode
It's a
9.
small
Have you guys heard of this movie? Episode 9, Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker.
So what time's our show?
6 o'clock, Thursday.
Thursday at 6 o'clock.
Going to opening night. Opening night.
Where is it? You can tell.
New Rock.
It's
a
Going, New Rochelle, New Rock. That's where we're
Is it
going.
not IMAX.
No, this is
RPX.
RPX. They
RPX.
weren't offering IMAX for whatever reason. I don't know why,
I like RPX anyway.
but I love
You
RPX.
can
If you guys out there have not been to an RPX
I like
movie,
recliner seats, man.
yeah, RPX.
What's
is
the
really
runtime?
good. They changed it recently. It's I think it's down to like 2 hours and 20
You know why
minutes.
they changed it? They've been changing those endings.
Oh, they've been
there.
changing. Yeah, because of all the
Every-
multiple endings.
yeah,
All right, we're gonna
every-
go into
Alright,
that.
so
Okay.
Eric is the light side. Me
Yeah.
and Tim
Ugh,
are the
this is-
dark side when it comes to this trilogy, this last trilogy that ends the Skywalker saga. Which I gotta be honest, man. After 8, my hype level went down tremendously.
I agree.
Went down tremendously for this film.
I was not a big fan of 8 at all.
No, I don't think that. No,
It
a
made
lot of people
7.
weren't.
You
made
were.
in the beginning, but and less now.
I think
Less now.
overall people didn't like 8. And
Oh,
now
I'd
that-
say
and now-
absolutely.
and now it's been coming
Star
out.
Wars
A lot of
fans.
the I don't know the specifics, but a lot of the cast has been kind of like shitting
They,
on it a
they've
little
been, yeah,
bit,
they've been
right?
coming out. There's been little
Like,
nods here and there to like.
What's one of the examples?
John Boyega said that the movie was iffy, and then
did, right?
JJ actually said like, "Oh yeah, it defined expectations, subverted expectations, but you can't. The movie was too meta, and you can't tell people that things aren't important."
Mark Hamill
What-
always hated the story.
He
always hated
I
there was
knew
no
it, dude.
yeah no he
and that's
so
why,
many- he
that
tried to
should have
hold
been a
his-
red flag for me.
Me
we
too.
didn't know it's true though. We didn't want it. Like people said this, we did not want to hear it. He said it all before the movie.
That's
He
what
said
I'm
it.
saying.
I said
None of
it-
us wanted to hear
I
it.
said it too. I said that from what we're hearing, it's gonna basically what it did is gonna split the fan base. You're either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it.
And I thought that was a good thing. I was excited for that. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, we're gonna get some like really cool, interesting
I
things.
should have foreseen the future, man, but I guess the
He
Force
hated
is a
it. He
strong
had to bite
woman.
his tongue the whole time.
He was a professional
what I
about
did
it.
hear JJ say is basically he respected this shock and the changes of 8, but he just was like, this is not the direction we were going in.
Right. He's like, he read it and he said like, oh, like that's interesting. That's interesting. But you could tell he wants to say that he didn't like it, but he can't
Yeah.
really say that.
Unfortunately,
You can't say that.
You
If
can't-
you're
No, you
attached
can't.
to it, you
No,
cannot.
you
say
can't.
it.
unfortunately, you can't take it back.
Even Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith he's listen, he's a beloved guy in this
Yeah.
world. In this genre.
He's hugely loved in the
That's
industry.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying. He's not gonna, even if he didn't, because I don't even know if he liked it as much as he
The way
said.
he talks about it makes you wonder. It really does.
I didn't see too much of his reaction. He always
I
everything
love-
he
I
says
love
is
Kevin Smith.
he's cried and he's happy.
Yeah, that's what
He
I'm
said he
saying.
said
I
he
love
cried and he was
Kevin
happy,
Smith.
but then he said like there were moments that were he called "fu JJ" moments that
Yeah.
were like we're gonna do away with this, we're gonna do away with
Yeah.
that, and then he
He
says
was- he-
wouldn't have done it that way.
He kind of,
you
I don't
know.
want to say because he didn't, but he kind of like just in his way was like, I don't know if I agree.
You know,
He said that. He said there's things that I wouldn't have done. He said if it was me, if I was directing the movie, here's X, Y, and Z, and I wouldn't have done
I
that.
love
I
Kevin
wouldn't have done
Smith,
that.
yeah.
I love Kevin Smith too. I love all his movies.
I have to say, from put ourselves back how many years before 7 in 2015,
well, they
and
okay,
fast
okay,
forward
20.
to now.
right.
In your mind, like we took a teleportation.
Yeah.
I would say they botched it so far. The whole
Yes.
thing.
Well, you can't say. Well, to be fair, you can't say they botched it. If 7 we all liked and made money,
Seven-
and Rogue One we all liked
7
and made
Let's
money.
throw the made money
Se-
out the window because it's gonna make money.
Well, right, it's
regardless.
true.
Throw that out the
7 we
way.
liked. I didn't love 7. I liked it. I didn't love it.
Okay, I would agree with that.
But it's botched just from the simple fact that there
I
was
like
no
7 a lot.
consistent story. There was no. what did I say the first? I remember this, and I said it on multiple podcasts. The first time we basically were talking, and they said, "Oh, they bought Lucasfilm bought Star Wars," and they were saying JJ, and I said, "Oh, who's directing them?"
Right.
I said them.
Right.
Because I'm assuming every
Same
good
director.
most trilogies have one director. Okay, because you have
a cohesive vision.
Yeah, cohesive vision from A through Z. Even the way the movies are shot, it has to feel the same.
Right.
And you said, "Oh no, not them." You're like, "There's 3 different directors." I was like, "What?"
Well, I said it first. Well, at the time in 2013 when they announced that the deal was made, they said JJ was going to do 7, the first movie. So all everyone talked about was JJ Abrams is directing the first new Episode 7 Star Wars movie. So we're like, okay, we'll worry about the first one first. Don't worry about 8 and 9. 5 years
But
before.
I didn't like that there was no, and I understand why directors don't want to be tied to 3 movies. I mean, it's such an
Right. No. Yeah.
ongoing-
JJ said he.
But they
wanted to
should
do
have
it.
had to. They had to find someone to do it. That will always be their biggest mistake.
Yeah.
Always. Think about which I think are, and I was just watching Dark Knight Rises again last night. It was on TV. Think about if that was 3 different directors. It wouldn't work. It'd be stupid. It'd be silly. It's
Nolan's vision.
Yes.
It's with his brother Jonathan doing these films.
That was their mistake, and I think if Disney had to go back in time, they would not do this.
I agree.
They would have the story A through Z.
Hindsight's 2020.
Yeah,
But it's right though. When you have you want to have one guy.
Well,
You don't want
especially when you're ending this story.
Exactly.
Right.
For this,
You're
it's
ending
like
this story.
I think
it's too
I
many
think they were
chefs in
too
the kitchen.
cocky going into it. They thought that they could just pull shit together and
Why do you think JJ came back? They knew they
they
fucked up.
didn't
They
take
knew
their
they fucked
they
up.
didn't take their time with this enough of piece. Just not even, and then I'll forgive the directors, okay? But at least have Kathleen Kennedy and like Lucasfilm say, "This is the story. You guys can tear off here, but this is 7, this is 8, this is 9, and you have to hit this point, and this point."
Well, they said that.
This is how it starts. This is how it ends, and you guys can we'll give you free range to do what you want with characters in the middle, but you can't veer off the storyboard.
Well, there was that video
So
Kathleen
that's
Kennedy
it.
said where they had the whiteboard. Did you see that video where they said they had a Kathleen Kennedy said before this whole thing started there was a supposed whiteboard where everything was bullet pointed out and they had the pillars of like, okay, you got to do this, and this, and then they said they brought in Ryan Johnson and things changed and there was too many cooks in the kitchen and too many people.
Exactly.
The story group got involved and they like, no, we got to change this and we got to change this and we got to do this.
Yeah.
So if you want to believe that they had some sort of bullet pointed plan, which they probably did, who knows? It obviously changed.
It changed.
So people say, "Oh, Kathy's lying." Everyone likes to call her a liar.
I think,
But she does lie and says stupid things a lot.
Does she last?
No, she's leaving next year. She only has 1 year left on her deal.
Oh,
She's
okay.
going to be
Not gonna
gone.
bring her
back.
And guess what? Bob's going to be gone too. So they can talk all they want about
You
the
think Bob
future.
Iger's gonna be gone?
He's retiring too. He said it.
Oh,
So that's why
I'm
they
not
can all
paying
talk now
attention to
about what the
that.
future of this franchise and all this movie's coming out in 2 or 3 years and all that. That's fine. And maybe Kathy and Bob will be laying groundwork for the future because they still are on the job for the next year. But when we start talking about the next Star Wars, they're not going to even be here.
Why would he retire? He just literally launched a streaming service.
Well,
Literally.
he's been doing the job for like how long's Bob been there? 15.
just
It
wrote
was
that book.
Eisner and then Iger took over. Iger's been there for what? 15
and
years.
he just wrote that book basically
but
saying
He did write that book.
They just forfeited like billions of dollars up front right now
Yeah.
in licensing fees for like licensing Netflix, their movies to Netflix and other streaming services to start their own service. They're pulling all their movies.
Right.
maybe he just feels like
You know how much money they're sacrificing?
It's
Right now they can get any money. They can get all the fucking. They can get a lot of money they want, billions of dollars to license their movies to Netflix.
But in the end,
They-
it's gonna
yeah.
work out.
Well,
for him.
they're doing it. They're
He might just
sacrificing
be
the short
thinking.
term for the
He
long
might just think
term.
it's his time to go.
I think he's
guess.
done. I think he's just tired of it. He's probably just done with it. He's been doing it for
Yeah.
he was
Plus
doing. I don't know what he was doing.
He was
beforehand.
CEO of ABC, wasn't he?
I believe he was.
Before
he?
Disney, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he also was doing the job under Eisner because Eisner was his.
He probably
was-
maybe
I
he
was
just
his
feels like it's time to
mentor.
step away, and I don't know. To be honest, they didn't. I mean, it's amazing how much I think and how good a job they've done with Marvel,
It's
and how
incredible.
of a shitty
How they
job they've done
screwed
with
it
Star
up.
Wars.
Well, guess
They
what?
screwed it up.
Guess what, guys? Who's the head of Marvel? Kevin Feige.
Yeah.
It's all about and who's the head of Star Wars?
Well,
And Ken.
exactly, and that's why also, you know what? This is a good. It's contradicting things that everything you just said about too many cooks in the kitchen and too many stories and too many fucking people.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the criticism of the prequels? George Lucas, all his vision, too
Yep.
many yes men. No one told him this is a
No one
mistake.
told him- no one-
So
reined him in.
So it was basically him saying, no one even questioned Lucas in the prequels.
They were scared to say anything.
It was
to
all him. And
people blame Rick
some people didn't
McCallum
like
too.
I personally, I love the prequels, but
They're
you know,
flawed.
It was kind of that way too much one way, and now it's way too much the other way. But
I agree.
I'd rather have one strong person saying,
along with people helping him.
yeah, this is it.
And I also think started it so right with
he did.
With the Force
He
Awakens.
did.
And
I thought it was. Yeah. I was like, wow, this is a great start.
It's a great, and you know why too? Because Lawrence Kasdan helped him.
Eight fucked up 7 for me.
Yeah, me too.
It
washed away too many things.
Listen, I told you this before, and I'll say it again. Going into 9, I just want people, and not just us in this room, just everyone on YouTube, everyone just crapping on it, everyone saying that they have leaks and they know everything. I just want everyone to go into the movie just willing to say, maybe it's going to be great, and you love it.
It's not easy to do that though. When you like I've been watching Star Wars since I'm like young.
Yeah,
so
we all have.
That's what I'm saying. So you come up with it, and
what I think,
and now you feel like they took the chair out from under you.
What I think is what you agree with. I think they put a hard ceiling on, meaning it can't be better than this because of 8.
Yeah,
See, I don't think that's fair because
I think that's perfectly fair.
It can only be here because of the mistakes in 8.
Yeah, because
but you don't think they can make the adjustments that they need to make to say we can
those
maybe
those are
fix
crazy
this?
adjustments.
Yeah, it's almost too much.
They had the chance with the untimely passing of Carrie Fisher. They had the chance to kill her off. They had the chance to kill her.
But the movie was already shot though.
No.
They weren't going to change and make her be dead in 8 after they already shot them.
Sure?
Yes, because remember the talk was, did she see the movie before she died? And they said yes. Or I'm sorry, that was Rogue One. That was Rogue One that they had said that she had passed away.
I don't remember.
I think they had.
Well, 8, you're right. I got mixed up. 8 wasn't done yet.
I think they had a chance to.
They probably could have. I'll correct myself. They probably could have, but they probably didn't want it. They didn't want to change the whole plot of 8, a key plot point of 8.
Going back on it now, well, the key plot of 9.
The fact that 8 even.
Well, I'm saying you would have to change 8 too to kill her in 8.
Supposedly she has a huge.
The fact that
nine,
8
true,
which I don't even know how. How
she's not in a lot of 9. You know, I can tell you that. I know you don't want big spoilers, but I can tell you how much of 9 she'll be.
And
I thought
less than 10 minutes.
And 9 was supposed to be her movie, right?
Correct.
How could she be?
9 is forever changed because of her death. Because it was 9 was supposed to be, like you said, her
8
movie.
was supposed to be Luke.
8 was Luke. 7 was Han Solo. Like 9 was her. She was gonna be like.
Oh my God! What they did with Luke.
See, that's the bigger problem.
That's a huge problem.
Yeah, because they didn't choose Carrie Fisher to die.
No,
obviously, they chose to kill Luke.
Yeah, but that's the ceiling we're talking about.
But how do you know that they can't make the changes necessary
to
make an incredible Star Wars?
Because
movie?
all right. Let's just get this out of the way. Mm-hmm. I don't like that the Emperor's coming back.
I don't like that either.
But okay,
I think it's a grasping for straws move.
Especially like.
They're not going to be able to explain. They're not going to be able to explain it enough to satisfy me.
Yeah,
and they're going to want to go back.
You don't know that though. You're assuming that.
I don't think they have the time. And then I think that what they're going to do is put out a comic or some fucking bullshit explaining the story of how he survived. Yeah. What's he? Because I was listening to another podcast the other day, and they were like, no, like if he says like, I didn't die when I went down there because I was able, like, and has like a 2-line thing of how he lived. I don't like that. He's old as fuck.
It's just it's covering up for the fact that Snoke was bullshit.
Okay, and also
That's what it's
you
doing.
don't, and people are saying no to this. You don't think it takes away from Luke?
Yes,
and Vader's
it does.
Vader's
but
redemption.
The fact that it's 40 years later, I can live with it. It's not like 2 years later they're deciding, let's just undo what we did 2-3 years ago that was so impactful. It's been 40 years. I can live with the fact that they're undoing something that's been in existence for 40 years.
But 6 was 6. The Emperor is dead. They killed the Empire. I don't know how you can go back on that. It's retconning something so stupid and desperate.
It's covering up for the fact that they messed up with Snoke's storyline.
Dude, it's desperate. I
don't know anything about Snoke.
I saw an Ian McDermott interview.
Oh yeah.
And they said whenever they started shooting, or a little before,
George
they emailed him like, we got to talk. It was never planned to bring Emperor Palpatine back.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
I don't think it was in Lucas's plans to bring him back.
No.
I'm not gonna say
we knew Lucas would never want to. Like you could talk about what the story treatments all you want, but we knew that there was no way Lucas would have ever brought back Palpatine. Never.
It doesn't ruin it for you at any level. Doesn't take away Vader's sacrifice and like Luke what they did.
No, only because it's been 40 years.
Isn't he the chosen one? Didn't he destroy the Sith? What happened with that? What happened?
Yeah, but you. Well, what do you mean? What happened? Because
What are you asking, Ryan Johnson here?
I don't know. No, like, listen, I
not-
wouldn't if I had to press a button. I would not have chose for Palpatine to come back. Let's all acknowledge that. I would never say yes. That is a fantastic choice. Definitely do that. But now that they are doing it, I want to see what they do with it.
I'm not gonna blame JJ because what the fuck's he left to do? Right?
Yeah.
JJ
What
was
could
put in
he
a fucked
do?
up position.
Well, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. I honestly think he's gonna make a great movie.
I think he's gonna make a great movie
I
too.
don't think the story is gonna be what it could have been, and that's.
Well, look, it changed forever with Carrie Fisher. They said that it changed forever with Carrie Fisher.
But that's out of your control. When you can control something,
right? They didn't control Ryan Johnson.
They did.
Anakin was supposed to destroy the Sith, right? That
Not
was the
not
prophecy,
destroy them, not joy them.
right?
Joy them. Right.
And
Yeah.
that whole thing, and then it was, you know, they thought it wasn't true. The prophecy because he turned to the dark side,
Right.
And then he really was the chosen one. He
Fulfilled.
destroyed the Sith,
Right.
and now that's undone.
But again, 40 years later, like you can't just say once it's done forever. Like what? Like we can never.
You can't have Star Wars without.
Dude, it's
dark
like
side,
it,
you know what I mean?
it'd be
Right.
that like them bringing back Thanos in like 20 years from like it's just like
But that's the thing. In 20 years, I'll be like, oh, okay, let's see. They brought him back. Let's see what happens. If they did it in 5 years, wouldn't you be completely disgusted? If they did it in 5 years and said, oh, we're gonna make that.
I'm disgusted because it shouldn't have been this way anyway.
But we can't help that.
No, I
It-
know.
it's
well,
dumb.
I'm not saying he's gonna make a bad movie. That's why I'm saying there's to me there's a ceiling. No matter what he does, that's it because he's gonna hit it.
Glass ceiling.
Because bringing back.
But
Palpatine.
that ceiling for you, is that like decent movie? Is that good movie? Is this like you're not going to be able to come out of this movie and say,
Well,
wow,
what
that
are
was
what are they
fucking
gonna
awesome.
Do? Bring back Billy D. Williams and then have every Force Ghost imaginable.
Yeah, it's just,
But I
it's
want to
like-
see the Force
it's-
Ghost.
Yeah, but then you don't want
I would have liked to see the Force Ghost.
you don't want
if it wasn't
pandering fan service.
Yes.
I like fan service. You don't want pandering.
Well,
People would- dude, people would-
Endgame is fan service. Let's not pretend Endgame. As much as we all
Yes,
love Endgame,
it
I love
was.
that movie. That movie is fucking fan service.
Yeah, but in a good
Infinity
way.
War wasn't
No, it wasn't.
8.
Oh no, of course
It
no, absolutely
wasn't.
not. No,
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
It was a
So you can get
great-
away with it.
Infinity War is one of the greatest superhero movies
Without a
ever.
question.
You can get away with it.
Right.
Now it's it's fan service, fucking for desperation. Like we fucked up. Now we gotta like
Yes.
blow
Yeah.
out
No,
the
I
Star
buy
Wars
that.
film.
I buy that.
Like, this is an apology movie.
Yeah.
I've heard people say that. That's a good point. I've heard
this is
people
what it
say
is.
that.
It's an apology movie. It's sorry we fucked up. Here's every character we know you love.
Right. We're gonna do
Fucking
cool
Boba
shit.
Fett might make a fucking
Yeah.
appearance.
Yeah.
Hey,
And I
listen.
don't even
Hey, you
fucking
guys.
like that.
You
That's
guys heard what
stupid.
JJ said the other day? He actually said Ahsoka is gonna be in this movie, which I know you don't know, Frank, but that's a Clone Wars character that is beloved. You don't talk about fan service. Fans love Ahsoka
But
Tano.
it's probably gonna be in the
Is
background. somewhere.
she is a Jedi?
She is Anakin's Padawan.
Oh, she's the one with the.
She's at the long
Yes.
thing in the back.
She's
Yes.
like the character in the Mando.
Yes, in the most recent. Yes, she's similar to that. So they're gonna throw a lot of stuff at this movie, and I've had discussions with my friends about it where they've even said we're gonna get fan service, but the question is it gonna be so fan servicey that you're like, oh yeah, I had fun in the time of seeing the movie, but then you think about it like a couple days later or a week later, and you think like, oh yeah, that was cool in the moment, but
People were
I didn't really like
people were
it.
complaining about fan service in the last Mandalorian episode, which was a lot of it. Carbon scoring and Tatooine.
Yeah,
and
Gungans,
and what else is it?
the voice actor for Clone
a
Wars,
lot of
Anakin was the guard, the 3 directors.
What
X-wing?
What do you
pilots.
want from this movie? If you could choose,
That's a big question. What do I want?
What do you want? Or what do you not want? Is probably easier.
Okay,
to say.
okay. What I
You don't want
100% don't. Yeah, do not do the Kylo Ren Raylo. Oh, he's gonna turn good and she's gonna fall in love with him because why? Like because she thinks he's good. Look, like that's my thing is that they've never had a spark of chemistry. If they've been building up that she liked him and that she kind of like dug him because he's good looking or for whatever reason, then I'd say okay, maybe they're building toward that. But there's no chemistry between the two of them. They almost kill each other in 8, and they almost kill each other in 7. So how are you gonna tell me all of a sudden that she wants to be with him?
Well, they fought alongside each other.
But
they did, but then they
I
turned
wouldn't.
against each other.
I wouldn't.
Because they were trying to fucking flip each other.
Right.
As crazy as it seemed, if they did it the right way, I wouldn't hate Raylo. I wouldn't hate that.
If it did it the right way, but
But
right now, I
because-
don't want to
but
see it.
because where they also made a mistake is Star Wars always had a love story. It had
that's
Han
what it
and
is.
Leia. It had Anakin and Padme, and there's no love story in this one.
They hinted at it in 7, which I liked, with Finn kind of digging Rey, Because he even says to her
That's
when he
what I
first sees her,
thought it was gonna
he
be.
says to her, "Oh, do you have a boyfriend? Do you have
Yeah,
a
but it
boyfriend?"
didn't
and I'm like,
go
"Oh, he
anywhere.
likes her. She's cute." And then
That would have been better. That would have been way better off, in my opinion.
I would've liked it.
It didn't go anywhere.
It never
now
went anywhere.
Now to pull it out now is like Han and Leia always had the thing going
always,
from them.
well, yeah,
Okay.
always the two of them.
And same Anakin and Padme.
Always.
So there is a love story in every Star Wars has
Well,
had a love
you had
story at
Finn
some
and
point.
Rose, wasn't
Oh.
it? Oh,
Yeah,
that was.
good.
Even everyone who loves 8, and I liked 8 more than you guys, especially 2 years ago. But everyone said it, and it was true. That the whole thing with the Rose and Finn was horrible.
I thought it was going to be Rey and Finn. The
because
whole time,
they hinted at it in the beginning.
I thought that was going to
But
be
that's
the love
that's another
story.
thing they just botched the story.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't want Raylo.
Don't
what
want-
else don't you want?
I don't want Raylo.
You don't want Kylo to be redeemed.
I don't want Kylo to.
You don't. You
I
want him
don't. No, I don't.
You think he's
No, to me he killed his dad, so it's like no redeem. I know Vader killed like half the galaxy, and they whatever. But we had more of a history with Vader. We felt because we knew he was Luke's father, and we knew he had gone through such crazy just difficulties going through the galaxy all his years. But we haven't had that same time with Kylo to really learn and understand why he would turn. So I don't think it would make any sense. He killed his dad. He was torn forever.
He turned because Luke tried to kill him. And then
Snoke was already turning him, and then Luke over.
But we don't know. We don't know what was going on.
No, we don't.
Yeah,
All we know is Luke was feeling that he was getting turned.
Right, pulled.
And yeah.
And
Okay,
I
so
don't
you
think
don't
he
want you don't want Kylo to be redeemed, or I see. To me, I think they could do it.
I think
I
they
wouldn't
could
mind
do it.
him being redeemed.
I'll take that more than Raylo. I'll take
Okay.
that. I'll take that.
They hinted at in the trailer that she's turning, right?
Well, they did the whole.
They had
She's
her-
got the
they
cloak
flipped-
on.
and
Yeah,
she flipped the
That's-
double-edged sword.
that's such teasery nonsense, though. Like the fact that they even showed that, I'm like, that's not real. Like that's a dream, or that's a force vision,
It's
or
a dream.
or it's not. Like that's not a real thing in the movie. Come on, like
No, I don't think so
Like
either.
it's a fun thing. You know what it is? It's a fun thing to talk about. And look, we're talking about it. Disney knew what they were doing. Let's show Ray.
We're gonna talk about this shit anyways.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's a cool way to end it. I'll give them that. It's a great way to end a trailer. That's the image that ends the trailer, right? When we saw it, that's the last thing they show. It shows the black screen, then it snaps to her with the snapping of the saber. Yeah, it's
one
cool.
of them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
cool
one of the
shit. It's
last.
awesome. It looks good, but it's not real. Like that's not a real thing. And,
so
like,
what
come
else
on.
don't you want? Did the ending?
You have high expectations. For
I
this
have
movie.
massive expectations.
Your expectations are here.
I'll tell you right now.
Here.
You guys know I do my top 10 every year. It better be on my top 10. It better be. Episode 7 was on my top 10. Episode 8 was on my top 10.
I don't even know how the fuck.
Yeah, I
that
don't know
happened.
how that.
My Rogue One was on my top 10, and I don't.
Rogue
love
One,
Rogue
I can
One.
understand. Rogue
Yeah.
One was a
well,
great
well,
movie.
8 I put lower on the top 10. I don't remember where I put it, but it was like 3, 4, or 5. 7 I was number 1 that year. Rogue One I think was 1 or 2. So I always put them in the top
Rogue
3.
One, I saw it not too long ago. It's a great.
It's
movie.
really good considering that movie was
I'm
a
going into
disaster
7.
behind the scenes.
I'm going into 7.
9. You mean
I mean 9. Expecting a 7.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that would be a massive disappointment.
I'm expecting
I would
a
give 8. I would give
7.5.
8 a 7. I would give 8 a 7.
7 and 7.5. I give 8 a 5.
All right.
On a Star
I
Wars,
disagree with
on
that.
a Star Wars scale.
Well,
I'll
yeah,
give it a 6.
I'm raking it on the IMDb scale, I guess, just in terms of a full
I'll give it
film.
a 6 because I like the Yoda in it. I'm
Like
just a Yoda guy.
It's a beautiful movie. It's a beautiful movie.
I didn't give a
Ryan
fuck-
Johnson shot an incredible movie. I'll give him that.
I didn't care that people were upset that he burned the books or whatever.
I didn't care about that.
I don't care about that.
No, I didn't care about it. The little nitpick things, I'll defend those, which I was doing on our last
I don't
podcast
care
when
about
we were
all
doing.
that.
I was defending the nitpicks, which I can deal with. The gravity bombs and little things. But yeah, it's like there's just too many things that are just like, well, but why do that? That's I knew we were in trouble with that movie with the lightsaber.
And
Ray
Luke
hands it
never
over.
really finished his training, and
Well,
like,
Luke didn't-
people
yeah.
were upset with Ray learned to she was
Mary Sue.
Yeah.
So I don't care. About
You always argue. I always argue with you whether she was a Mary Sue, but then once 8 came
She's a
in,
Mary
there was no argument that she's a Mary Sue, which is just there's no question. You have to just accept it at that point.
I think them giving away the Emperor's in the movie is going to be a horrible mistake. I don't think there's going to be a bigger
In terms
shock.
Oh, okay.
I think that was too much of a spoiler to give away.
Oh, you think they
from
should
the
have
beginning.
hit it the whole
I
time?
think they should have hit it the whole time.
I know people that said the same thing, but my
Imagine going
counter-argument-
into it not knowing he's in it.
Yeah, it's
You'd be way more. But again, they were desperate. They had to sell the Emperor to everybody. That's why they did
a
that.
lot of people have said that, but my counter argument would be and I hope I'm right, is that if they're gonna tell you the Emperor is in the movie, then that better be like one of 5
I know
incredible
you said
things.
that, but
yeah,
I don't think that's
like if that's the biggest thing you have
that's
and
gonna
you
be-
pulled it out, then you fucked up. You cannot blow your biggest secret in the very beginning. Like you can't. I've heard there's gonna be crazy stuff in this movie. I don't know what, but I've heard there's gonna be.
I'm gonna
crazy
go out.
Stuff.
I'm gonna go out right now and say, Palpatine being in this movie
Is
is the
gonna
biggest
ruin it?
thing of the movie.
I have heard just from
What could be fucking?
I've heard there's headline. I've read headlines and I've heard rumors that there is a major character twist. That something happens with a character that is massively unexpected. I don't know what that means, but that would be might be
It
bigger.
doesn't specify a character.
No, I wouldn't want to know. But I've heard that there's something with the character that's gonna blow you away.
Nuke Skywalker.
Oh, don't even say that. Oh,
No,
don't say
remember
that.
Remember that leak that came out
Yeah.
348? Nuke Skywalker. He was on like IMDb.
Yes,
or
and they
something.
faked the IMDb
Yeah,
page and
yeah.
did all that. I don't think.
All right. Well. All right. Let's get into some of these. They didn't see leaks. We're not going to really get
I
into
follow,
leaks
you're the
here.
big leak guy.
You're the
I'm.
leak
I know
master.
leaks.
Tim is the leak
And
master.
I'll say if the
He-
leaks are true.
He does know. He does not use Flex Seal. All right. He doesn't know anything.
Listen.
No Teflon for him.
I'm just gonna say this, okay? You knowing what you know about the movie and knowing Palpatine's back, we could all in this room, even
Kinda
Danny, write a
predict it.
fucking story,
Predict
and
it.
like it's gonna probably be pretty close to that, okay? But anyway,
That's very paint by numbers the way you're describing.
there's leaks that I saw. I'm not gonna get into the spoiler leaks, but the chatter is that you don't believe, and this has been going around, is that the first movie was shot and they were calling it a
Disaster.
a Kathleen Kennedy ending or something like that.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Or
said there was
I'm sorry.
I didn't hear. any
JJ
of
shot the
this.
movie and
Right.
they called in for a screening. You didn't hear any of this.
I don't know.
Which
I don't pay
this has been
attention to
disproven. Just so you know, let's be fair. This has been disproven.
Yes.
This has been said that this did not happen.
Oh, I don't want to hear fake news then.
Well,
but this is what's been going around on YouTube that people have been discussing. And why
I
said
don't
no
know
one's
how
giving it a fair
someone-
shake. This is part of the not fair shake that I'm arguing against.
the,
so that's
the,
important.
the ending has been changed. Has been going back for 6 months.
I have heard
So
that. I've heard that the
there's
ending
always
has been
some
changed.
truth to rumors.
That is true. I've heard that the ending has been changed, like majorly changed.
Yeah,
I have
okay.
heard that. I
That's-
think
that
it's true.
ties into this.
Okay.
So what they said is the movie was shot. They did a test screening. It was not good. The ending was not good.
People were literally vomiting in their seats.
Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, got called in. He made some changes to it. Again, not good. And then they said they called Lucas in to redo the entire.
That's not
ending.
complete nonsense.
That's probably not true.
So they were basically saying that there was different cuts of the movie. They were trying to say that there was a JJ cut, a Kathy cut, / Bob Iger cut, and a George Lucas cut. But it's not.
Does George Lucas even want to be involved?
Do you believe he got called back in at all for this?
I think he helped. Well, they said he helped with the writing. Remember they said
okay.
they called him up and they had to like make little notes for him to set up the ending because JJ said he wanted to have everything in place for the ending of the
So
nine
they
movies.
did call him
So
in to help him write
I think
the
they
ending.
called him in the beginning. I don't think they said, "Wow, we made a piece of shit movie. Let's get George in here to
Yeah,
come save
yeah,
it."
yeah,
That
yeah,
I will
yeah.
never.
No,
You'll
yeah.
never convince me of that. JJ could walk down those stairs right now, and I would not believe him. That they brought George. Lucas in at the end.
But he was involved in the writing.
Yes, in the beginning, that they were like, "Oh, we're gonna make this movie. Let's figure it out. Let's get."
And
our
you
bullet
do believe
points."
the ending was changed more than once, or just?
I believe it
once?
was a change at least once, but majorly. Like I
Yeah,
think,
yeah.
yeah. And
So
how
what
many
does
times did
that
I tell you guys the
mean?
runtime? And the runtime changed. Because remember I was telling you,
Yeah.
don't believe this nonsense. The runtime is the same for the last 2 months. And then guess what? The runtime changed.
Well, how
did,
long
right?
is it?
It went down like 9 minutes. The movie. It was originally the longest Star Wars movie ever, but now it's like shorter than 8. The movie time changed, which never happens. That's a little scary.
yeah,
that's a little scary.
So
Scary.
there's some
Little bit.
there. So everything of that whole leak is probably not true, but there's always some truth to fucking rumors. I don't give a if it's a rumor about fucking
There
in
is
middle
and there
school
isn't.
when fucking Susie kissed fucking Billy. there's a truth to it somewhere.
When
And
there's
I
smoke,
believe
there's fire,
I
what you're
believe
saying.
Yes,
the
yeah.
ending was changed.
I believe it too.
Like
See,
how
you
common
guys pay
is that?
attention to way too much shit. I just watch what they give me.
I
to
try to
watch,
have a
and-
cursory knowledge of it.
And to
Tim
me,
dives
I don't want to
deep.
hear like
I
fucking some random guy who doesn't even show his face on YouTube's opinion.
Yeah, that guy Doom.
Well,
I don't want to say his full name because I don't want to give him credit. But that guy it makes nonsense out.
Well,
he has,
And
he has
do you see
no
his-
knowledge.
Do you see his face at all?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
there's
And
always
he modulates his voice like
There's
the
the
Vader.
only one that doesn't show their face a lot is Emergency Awesome. That guy.
That guy's
is
great.
the greatest YouTube channel when it comes to shit. Like
He is really good.
when it comes to
but-
like Star Wars or Marvel.
Marvel,
or
just
Game of
entertain-
Thrones.
yeah,
just
pop
shows
culture
and
entertainment.
Yes, he has to have minions.
He-
with him.
He's got
That
guys.
dude
He's
is,
got
like,
guys.
amazing.
You know the other guy we followed that makes him. I'm not gonna say his full name. Not gonna give him credit. Mike.
Yeah.
That guy makes up complete nonsense
Yeah,
in his
yeah.
basement.
Yeah,
He makes
I'm
up
good.
3 or 4
I'm-
videos a day of complete nonsense.
I'm good
And posts
on that. I'm
and
good.
posts clickbaity, nonsensical videos.
But I
I'm
think
good.
there's been leaks before every big movie, Marvel, Star Wars, no matter what. These leaks were consistent, and they were the biggest I've ever remembered.
All right, let me ask you this, because this is what I've been hearing. Because you guys have been watching the TV spots.
I'm
I'm
not
off the TV
talking about the
spots.
bullshit screenings and the fucking
Right.
changing endings. I'm talking about
Are the leaks
the leak
matching
plot.
the TV spots? I've
Yes,
heard they are.
yes.
See, that's what I've been hearing. That's what worries me a little bit.
I read the leaks. I saw the first trailer after that.
Mhm.
It was lining up.
You said that you told me the C3PO stuff. That was
Yeah.
like that
I
I
told
looked a
you
little
that about
into.
that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wanted. I told you to tell me that. I wanted to know, like, is that the thing? Is this that? And I told
That
some
was
other people
it.
I know.
This
Yeah,
is
that's
kind
a-
of shit.
That's a problem.
I'll
That is.
pay
I don't like
attention
that.
to after the fact.
But I saw this is what I believe too, because I saw the leaks that everyone was talking about, and then the trailer came out, and there was shit in the trailer that was lining up with the fucking leaks.
And you're just
That's so bad.
so that's why.
How did this
But
leak?
your hype got raised a little bit
This-
after that last trailer.
This last trailer, you still didn't watch it?
No.
You watched it.
yeah.
You don't want to
I
know what
watched
it
all
is.
the trailers.
You probably heard what it is by now.
Oh, just the whole thing with Palpatine and voices and Vader
but-
and
oh,
stuff.
okay, you don't even
I just
know.
know that, but I don't.
You
know.
don't want to know.
I don't want to
anything
know. I
else.
don't want to know. I heard he hears voices and you hear like sounds.
And it's
and-
more. It's a little more. I thought that show was fucking. Now I've been shitting.
I
on
heard
Star
it's
Wars
amazing.
for a
I heard it's
while.
amazing. I don't want to.
I've been shitting on it, and I was down on it.
We won't
And
spoil
my
it here,
hype
but if you
level
guys want to
wasn't,
go
like,
see it, go
not
check it
even
out.
Great.
Yeah.
This trailer got me hyped.
You told me
Because it wasn't even really a
25%.
trailer. It was a clip.
Right, it's a clip. Right, it's not even a trailer.
movie
It's a clip.
clip,
People
yeah.
calling it a trailer. It's
The
a clip.
first
It's 30
minute
seconds,
is
right?
a clip
Oh,
or
okay.
whatever, 30, and then there's the trailer at the end. But the first is a full clip of the movie,
Wow.
and it's you didn't get as hyped as me, but
No. Because of the voice changes.
yeah, but
and the
just
things,
even
I
him like
just-
going down to
you got hyped on those voice changes
Yeah.
a lot. I was like,
See,
him going down that shaft.
and I thought it was Vader's theme. You said it was Emperor's.
It's Emperor's theme in that.
even the fact that you got more excited was good to me, because I always say I have another friend who's been getting me all excited for that he's been loving, and he's loving what he's seeing. But then you guys have been kind of bringing me down a little bit, saying it's gonna be bad and all this negativity.
'cause you
but then
just-
you got mad hyped again, and I'm
I
like,
got
okay,
hyped
so
for-
now I'm back.
Because I just feel like you're expecting a 9.
I am
a
yes.
9.5 out of
Yeah,
10.
yeah.
And I'm expecting no more than a 7.5.
That's horrible.
Maybe
that's
maybe
terrible.
an 8. Maybe an 8. But honestly, I just don't see it.
An 8 to me would be a mild disappointment. Mild disappointment. I want that 9. I want a 9 for 9.
If it's an 8, this trilogy to me
Is
disappointment.
rough.
way big, and it's the worst trilogy. I think the prequels would be better.
It's
First
funny.
of all,
it's-
I don't
people
give
are
a
so
fuck what
split on the
anyone says.
prequels.
I love the prequels.
I do too.
I don't care.
You see guys like John Campea who think the prequels are just utter garbage,
hates
and
them.
that this trilogy is miles better
don't
than the
care.
prequels, but not as good as obviously the originals. But hey, everyone's different.
I like the
I know. I have
prequels.
plenty of friends that like the prequels. I like the prequels.
I don't think there's I don't think even Attack of the Clones,
Attack of the Clones is rough, dude.
but I don't.
Come on,
I
everyone out
think-
there.
The only
will
thing
tell
that
you.
bothers me about is it's just basically all green screen.
Yeah.
It's
And
too.
that's-
It
and
is.
that's-
You're
and
right.
That's what bothers me the most.
It's so cold. It's so generic.
Yes, that's
You're not
what- it's
interacting with anything.
cartoony-ish almost.
They're
in-
walking
in
through
a-
the
in a
halls
sense.
and there's like nothing. They're not interacting.
And
not-
the doors close quicker than fucking.
Yeah.
Like they just, it's quicker than an eye flash.
But I still like
That
Attack
shit-
of the
that shit
Clones
kinda bothers
way better than 8. Way better than 8.
I probably would not argue that. As a movie,
This is-
as a filmed product, 8 is better.
Yes.
But as a story
Story,
and action,
that's
and,
what matters
yeah,
the most.
Yeah, I would go 2 over 8. Even though I
That's
don't
what-
think
that's
2.
what
I don't
matters
really
the
like
most.
2 that much.
And the best.
And 2's the worst one.
Yo,
1 and 3 are better
The best
than 2.
lightsaber battle
Is
Was
1.
one.
is
Of-
Phantom Menace.
Oh, ever.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
These lightsaber battles have been fucking horrible in this trilogy.
Well, we didn't get a lightsaber battle in 8.
I know.
that's a problem. We gotta fight a
you
cool
can
choreographed
nitpick
fight.
the end of Force Awakens a little bit.
I
That's a good
didn't
fight. I like that one.
I like that fight.
It's a good fight. I like the
I
trees
kind of
and
didn't like
it's dark.
that Kylo was getting fucked up a little too
He was
much.
hurt.
He's getting a little too much.
I agree. He beat
He
beat Finn's ass though.
He took a shot from Chewie.
Yeah, gut bleeding,
Yeah.
and
But
he's frazzled from
you
being
can't-
angry.
You can't let Finn hit you at all. You can't let
I
Finn
know.
hit
Dude,
you. I'm sorry, but
this
you got
prequel,
hit
fuck
Finn
the
real quick.
prequel lightsaber battles were
Incredible.
you had The first
Oh,
one
dude.
is the
Darth
best
Maul
one.
was-
And then when Yoda came out to fight
Yoda,
fucking
Dooku.
Dooku.
Yes,
Yeah.
that one was
awesome.
great. But the Dooku versus Anakin and Obi-Wan one wasn't great.
It wasn't great.
Also because they have Christopher Lee and he's old.
Yeah,
And he couldn't, they
but
had to
at
shoot
the
it
end
up
of that, the Anakin and Obi was classic.
that one's
And
fantastic.
that to me, it's a
That
little.
was awesome.
That's an
To me,
awesome
it's a
fight.
little.
That
Over
was
the, It's a little over the top. It's really.
It is
long.
really like
It's really long, and they're like on like. It was a little over the
but
top.
it-
They're
Every
cli- they're
cut.
climbing the
but
towers
it's
and then
the
they're-
climax.
Yeah.
It's the climax.
it does
of-
go on
of-
a little too long.
I don't care because
Yeah.
it's the climax and it's him turning.
And it's
into
two
Vader.
Jedi, and I love the argument people said too, which is true. It's two Jedi at the top of their power, at the peak of
And
their
they know
abilities.
each other. And they know each other.
Right.
Yes,
Well,
they're best, dude. They're,
Well,
And
pe-
that ending
yeah.
scene on
love
the
each
beach,
other.
the lava beach
lava
with,
bit,
with the
like,
high ground. That's
It is-
one of my favorite scenes in
it
all
is
of Star
great.
Wars. Even the originals, it's one of my favorite
Hey, and
scenes.
in 3 too, you also get Yoda versus Palpatine. That's a
Oh, yeah,
fantastic.
exactly.
You got that
Yes.
fight going on while you got the other
Yeah,
fight going
yeah.
on.
That's why.
Yeah.
And, you have- and the
Yes.
music. Remember the music playing as they're coming through the
Oh,
the
John
hole in
Williams
the
is-
ground.
John
with the,
Williams is
oh
brilliant.
my
Yeah.
God!
So
And they're in the
not
Senate.
comparable.
It's like
Different times. There's
That's
not.
kind of what I don't like about Mando.
There's not as
is
many-
is the score. I don't like. The
I want.
scores.
Yeah. So I do want to transition. I'm glad you brought up Mando. It's you don't, but what, you don't like the music at all.
I like
I
the
don't think
main
it's great.
theme.
I don't think it's
The
great.
main theme is
I
great.
like
love the main theme
because it does
r-
fit into the Wild West Star Wars.
yes.
Overall, I don't think it's great.
The main theme, but they don't play the main theme enough. I feel like
Yeah, they just play at the end credits.
that main like opening and ending of
Let's
the.
just
of
go
the-
out and on a
Let's
limb.
okay. Let's unpack it. Let's
Let's
start
go
with.
out on a limb.
Okay.
And just, from my opinion, Mandalorian is overrated. If it wasn't, I'll say this right now. If it
It's not
wasn't-
over yet. It's
if
not
it
over yet,
wasn't
right.
for what is this 5 or 6?
No, we just finished. We just saw six.
Six.
Episode 7
If it
is
wasn't for
Wednesday.
Baby Yoda, I would not be continuing watching this show.
At all.
Period.
Okay, I would still be watching. I wouldn't like it as much. I agree with you, but I would still be watching. it.
I would agree. I don't dislike it. I do like it, but it is
I'm not saying I
it's overrated
Yes,
because it's
I'm
getting
not saying I don't like
everyone I've been
So you
seeing
think
is so
this
good, so good, so
episode
good,
6
and,
was
and
good.
I don't think it's that
I like
good.
Bill Burr. And
Again,
it was very good.
But I don't think I never went into this thinking it was going to be some. I was like, okay, it's just about some random bounty hunter, and it's what I
But
expected.
they hyped it up to be like the
I
next
kind
big
of-
great show. They
I
hyped it
kind
up to
of
be that.
But-
didn't, but
It ties into what I always say is like once you veer away from like the Jedi and like the Skywalker
Skywalker.
trilogy, like I don't think people just
that's a
care
very
enough.
valid point.
like
you don't know,
who
but
cares?
I don't know.
Like it's cool. Listen, you see other planets and like it's 35 minutes and I'm gonna watch it, but it's not like
well, that's what bothers me
it's.
about
I
it.
don't have
I was
any.
just
like,
going to ask you, what's
connection
your
to
biggest
it.
problem with
That's
the
what
show? And
bothers me
everyone
about
has been. I've been saying it on my.
It's
I'm on the
too
movies
short.
page. I've been saying it. It's the same thing. It's
It's
the episodes
too
are too short.
short.
The episodes are too short.
And that's what everyone's saying.
It's this.
Yeah,
guy's
I
got
know
a
I'm not the only one
new
who thinks that.
bounty every week, and it's
That's
just
what-
like to
people
me,
saying
it's
that
like,
too?
I don't bother.
Yes.
That bothers
So
me.
here's the thing. Some people I've noticed. Some people are saying. I've been saying it on my channel. 100% every week. I'm like, I'm down with story of the week. Once in a while, you want to do 1 or 2 episodes of Adventure of the Week, Story of the Week. That's fine. But you only have 8 episodes to play with. You can't keep doing these one-off adventures. I know you're building the character and building the world. That's great. But you got to
The
have an
world is
overarching
built.
story.
The world is built.
But you got to build the world of the show in terms of the fall of the Empire, like his world, like the world he
yeah,
lives
but
in.
I'm saying the world is set up already.
No, listen, I get that. And I do think, like, listen, you want to build the world, you want to do a few adventures of the week, that's fine. But you got to have an overarching story. And we're about to hit the 7th episode, and we still don't have an overarching story.
I saw someone that commented on your thing. I was like, oh, like you don't need an like the story.
Yeah.
Like kicks ass and like it's a different. Story
Yeah, I don't agree with. See, I
Yeah.
told him I don't agree with that. Like,
This is what proves to me that Boba Fett should never have had a movie even in the
Yeah, in thought.
in the thought.
but
Because
a
why-
2-hour movie would be more focused than this. This is a little all over the place. Boba Fett 2-hour movie would be obviously be a focused.
And people
plot.
care way more about Boba Fett than this random guy.
Sure.
too,
Yeah.
so
and
it could have worked, but again, it's.
Are you more upset that there's not an overarching story yet, or that the episodes are too short? What's your number one problem with the show right now? Because I feel like those are the 2 main problems with the show. Even though I'm gonna go for the record, I like the show. I'm enjoying it.
The length doesn't. The length wouldn't bother me if they were really good episodes. Like the length
the
is.
story.
You could have a.
To me, it
you
comes
could have
down
an
to
hour and a
story.
half episode if it's not good, or you give a 30-minute episode if it's good.
Yeah.
It's the story.
They've been a little hit and miss.
And some of the episodes are just like.
To me, it just comes down.
Sometimes I don't love. That's why I never loved Marvel and Star Wars for TV because sometimes I just feel like I did not like that opening scene when they were like in the woods with those like monsters and in that village.
Oh, they attacked the village
I
in
felt
episode
like that
5.
seemed like a
That was what was
some
it?
like
What was the name of it? Yeah.
sci-fi Channel 9. original. Like,
Yeah. Like
it
you felt
seemed
like it was cheap, or you thought you just didn't like it? Like what?
it seemed like very
Tropey? Was it like tropey?
It seemed like some random, not Star Wars. I didn't feel like I was watching. I thought I was watching some cheesy sci-fi movie in the beginning.
But a bunch of guys attacking a village is generic, but you can't say it's not really Star Wars because there's always like raids on villages.
Yeah,
and
but like
people dying and
I
stuff.
don't know. I just couldn't explain it. The setting of it, the way it looked, it didn't.
So it just didn't hit for you.
It didn't hit for me.
Okay, I didn't mind that episode. There was some good character build. It was in episode 4, I think you're talking about. Yeah, where he meets the woman in
that
the
5?
village. No,
That's
that was
5.
4. No, 5 was with Ming Na Wen.
Oh,
and
yes,
they attacked
and
her.
then
They
he-
had to get the
yes,
bounty.
yes.
So 4 was the one in the village. I don't remember the names of some of these episodes.
He was
but
trying to hide out, and
Right, that was
he met the other woman that's
yes,
a badass bitch.
right. Ming
And,
Na,
and
yeah,
actually,
she's
now
awesome.
that I don't think he's like. They don't make. I thought they didn't make him enough of a badass.
I agree. They've toned him down a little bit. He's like very human. He's beatable. He would have.
he's
Baby Yoda
beatable.
saved him in the second
Yeah,
episode
he's
with the
not
Force
like-
powers.
He's not like I thought he was going to
I
be some
thought
like.
that was the best moment. I'm such a Yoda.
Yeah, I
fan.
know. Listen, we all
That was,
we're-
that was the best moment of the show.
It was
Is
one
when-
of the best.
Is when he just because I don't want to say I wasn't expecting it, but it just came out of nowhere that he just
Yeah, he did the whole.
he used the
close-
Force.
the memes are just
his
taking
his-
over. They're
his
incredible.
His soft side personality and like the baby and everything is whatever, but him just being able to fuck people up. Like I thought he was gonna be like John Wick. Like he was gonna be fucking.
You thought he was
people
going to be
up.
super elite,
Yeah.
which are what Mandalorians are. They're
Yeah,
elite,
and
but they've
he's-
made him out to be
They made him not like that.
a
Like,
little second tier.
Yeah.
A
Which
li-
makes me think it's really
But
more
I kinda
for kids.
like that.
It's more for kids than it is
Well-
for people who followed the original.
dude,
trilogy.
it's not like even this action scenes are like even like
Which
what the
is
Jawas.
fine.
He was like kind of like getting fucked up like that. Like I know it was a big thing, but like Jawas are like knocking you off. Like
yeah, but
I was
And they
expecting like
destroyed
a,
his whole ship.
I was
Yeah, they
expecting
tore it
like
apart.
like a John Wick like dark like he's just gonna come in there dark and like
Wreck
really
everything.
fuck
Beat
people
you
up.
down,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now there would probably be a few adversaries that were like on his level.
right. That
but
you
like
have to have a struggle, right?
but like little like these people that he meets randomly throughout the episodes like should not be like competing with
well,
him.
you've noticed what they've done, which are some of the best action scenes, where they put him up against like a group, and he has to like fight through the group. So he had to like fight all the stormtroopers in that room. Then he fought all those robots in the hallway of the last episode, which I thought was awesome. He just killed all those droids.
Well, who knew? Well, spoiler alert if you didn't watch the last episode.
yeah,
of
episode 6 of The Mandalorian.
But who didn't think they were gonna fuck him over at the end?
I had
Tried to.
I had that feeling
You didn't think that was gonna happen?
yes,
And he was
I
kind
wasn't
of-
sure of it, but I was like, yeah, they're probably gonna.
And he was
They're
kind
probably
of
gonna
like
fuck
he was
him
kind
over.
of a, like really he fucked them up in that one. But even in like I remember thinking in episode 1, I'm like he's really having a hard time. Like if it wasn't for that robot, that droid, he would have
Right.
been killed.
right. No, he would have.
And he
Oh,
went in there
yes.
like kind of half-assed. Like he didn't even know like
Yeah, he needed
didn't-
IG.
he
Was it
didn't-
IG 11 or IG 88?
he didn't even have like a
Whatever.
plan. He kind of just walked up and he didn't expect it to be that many people. Like
he's like, we gotta split this
this
up.
shit wasn't calculated. It didn't seem like
Because
I was
it's
expecting like a
35 minutes. It's 30-minute episodes.
I was expecting like a 007 almost like Star
Right.
Wars character 007.
Yeah, I think
type
John
guy.
Wick is a great example.
Yeah.
You said like you thought he'd
You
be like
thought
the
he was
elite
gonna do
level
that. Yeah.
super soldier.
Yeah.
Like barely only the few other
Like
elites can
Captain
stop
America.
him.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that-
Yes.
like
That's
that
what I
woman
thought.
in episode 4, in the 4th episode, that with all the
Oh, Gina Carano.
yeah,
Yeah,
she
she
beat him down.
She did beat him,
She beat
but
him.
she's also a skilled bounty hunter. But yeah, you would think shouldn't be Mandalorian level.
She's not. The Mandalorian is supposed to be the most skilled
Right.
warriors.
Well, there was a good line in the last episode about that. They're like, oh, they're the
Yes.
best elite race ever. They're like, then why are they extinct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Bill Burr. Yeah,
Bill Burr was good.
He was good.
I like the cast. The direction of the episodes are good. The action is good. I think the CGI for the most part is very strong. There's been a few little
I
parts
don't- I
where the
don't
CGI is
mind it.
not great.
Yeah.
I don't
That's okay.
care.
I
don't
think
care.
the acting in some of the spots have been is a little hit or miss.
Some
at
of the
times.
character choices and actors have been a
yeah,
little
but
I didn't love that like cool kid that was like
Oh, the,
That
and-
it was too cool for school.
yeah, like
oh,
he
maybe,
was like
yeah.
a douchebag.
He's too
basically,
cool for school, but he's trying to be.
Yeah.
He's trying to.
He wanted to get into the guild.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was not a good acting. He was
Yeah.
not good.
And that character was just I didn't like that.
Yeah,
character.
but they did good.
What's her name
Werner
was very
Werner
good.
Herzog is a good choice. Carl Weathers is a good choice. Gina Carano, like they've made mostly
Carl
good
Weathers
choices.
is great.
Carl Weathers is really good. Werner
Okay.
Herzog was great. Ming Na Wen was a good
She
choice.
was awesome.
She's awesome.
She was awesome.
And another thing that the show did, which I thought was a mistake, they hinted at the end of the fifth episode with the guy walking up on her body, and everyone's been speculating who is that?
With
And then
the Spurs, right?
yeah, the Spurs, and then they do the next episode, and we don't find out. I get they're gonna do it obviously for 7 or 8, but it seems like they're just amassing a cast of a big crew of people, and they're gonna have them all come back and like bite the Mandalorian for all his missions because he's screwed over a lot of people and he's killed people and done
Yeah.
stuff.
There's 2 left.
There's 2
When
left.
they coming?
There's
Wednesday,
one tomorrow.
one
Wednesday.
tomorrow. Yeah, Wednesday. One Wednesday before 7, which I'm interested to see if they're going to connect it, which will be fascinating. And then
Before 9.
and
Then
then
they-
the following week's Friday. So
Okay.
10 days from the Wednesday, because they're going to do the following Friday to get
And
back on the Friday
Is there
schedule.
any time or run time? You're hoping these are an hour or something.
I hope these 2 give me 45 minutes. Because
don't-
because I want to be fair to them. They never told us that these were going to be hour episodes. We're just conditioned that way because of the Netflix thing. We're conditioned to believe that the Netflix Marvel universe
But
these
there's
episodes
a
are an hour.
reason why though, because it just works. That
It's been like
format
that since
works.
The Sopranos and The
It
Wire.
has.
Yes, and it
yeah.
works.
No, I agree with you. They should be longer, but just to be fair to Disney, they never told us these were going to be. We're giving you 1 hour. No, they never said that. They just said we're giving you an 8 episode
The
show.
Mandalorian is for teenagers.
I agree. It's a PG-13
It's
show.
not. It's not for, like, it's not for us. To me, that's how I feel. It's not for me,
It's not.
and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If it wasn't for Baby Yoda, I wouldn't be watching.
If Baby
it.
Yoda wasn't not in this,
Would you be watching it?
They'd be in a little hot water right now, I think.
I'd agree. But then the whole story would change then at that point because obviously
I know,
his main
yeah.
mission is
But I mean,
Yoda, Baby Yoda.
Well, yeah, that's huge. That's
Right.
the only reason
it's huge.
I'm sorry. That's the only reason I'm watching it.
The only reason.
It is.
And he's swept the internet by storm. I mean,
It
it's-
is-
That's what
I've been
amount of
seeing
marketing
so
with that
many
is-
Instagram pages.
it's fucking-
It is
people who
insane.
don't know anything about Star
Know it.
Wars know about
yeah.
Baby
Ma-
Yoda.
I told you guys this story. My mom literally walked into the room while I was watching the show, and she saw it. She hadn't seen anything with the show, and she says, "Why is Yoda a baby?" And I'm like, "Oh, so even my mom was like a very cursory, very low-level Star Wars fan, could easily see that kid and be like, "Oh, I know what that is right away."
Yeah.
That's the mass appeal that you're dealing with. That
Yeah.
people who don't really know the brand are just like, "Oh, I know what that is. It's Baby
Yeah.
Yoda." Like, yeah, it's not really
Because
Yoda,
if someone
but
doesn't know
obviously.
Star Wars and you just turn on you would have no idea.
and
Star
it's
Wars.
interesting that it's a baby, but it's 50 years old.
I'm interested. I'm
You know,
very
so
interested
it's
in
like,
that. I'm
whoa,
very
hold
interested to
on.
see.
It's like, whoa,
It hurts
hold-
you heard about how it hurts the continuity, right? Have you heard about this?
No.
Okay, what was it, Tim? Correct me. Yoda was 100 when he started training the Jedi at the temple.
So
now we have to believe now that the first 50 years are like infancy, and then the next 50 years
like
he
he's going
develops
through his teenage.
exponentially. So instead of it being like
Well, when he
infant-
died, he was like 900.
he was 900, but he has to be a basically grown adult, masterful Jedi in the next 50 years. But they have to adjust that because how are you an infant for 50
He
years?
just barely even walks.
Right, and then in the next 50, you have to be master class level Jedi, teaching other people, and not so much that he has to be at that level, but he has to be old enough to
But
do
yeah,
it.
and it could work because like if you look at dogs, like a dog is like full grown in like 7 months, and then it
Well, the
lives-
first year is a puppy.
and then it lives like
Right.
it could live to be like
Anything-
16.
Yeah, anything
So-
Yoda or that species, I'm like hooked.
Right. Well, everyone loves Yoda. Yoda's an easy get.
Yeah.
It's easy for people to
I
love.
know. He's the goat.
Yeah. It's
And it's going to be because it's just so much more important. They have to hit on Obi-Wan. That show
Oh,
has to
man.
be fucking.
I'm very, very,
show has to
very
be-
concerned
Are you
about Obi-Wan.
in general or because
Just
of
based
Mandalorian?
off Mandalorian.
Really?
I'm
They
very
They cannot
concerned.
mess that up. They changed it from being
Because
a
they have
movie
an
to being a TV show. So
Yeah.
you better fucking
They have
nail it.
they have an opportunity to do some really cool things.
Really, they have the opportunity to make it the best thing that Disney's ever done
with Star Wars because they can bring
The-
Vader into it.
The best thing they've ever done.
They could.
They could bring Vader into it in weird ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
could bring
have
Maul into it with weird ways, just with like visions and
Maul,
stuff.
Yeah.
Luke,
Because we
yeah.
know, obviously, in Rebels,
Well, I
we-
even-
we-
They
I
can
don't
bring
watch-
Yoda into it because they
They
can go to Dagobah.
They have
Qui-Gon.
Yeah, there's a lot
They
they
have
can
an
do.
infinite palette of
they can have
stuff to play with.
Yeah, they have so many
And
chances.
It's focused. It's good because it's going to be focused.
And that has
but
to be
it's gonna
an
be-
overarching, must be an overarching story.
Oh yeah,
Because there's going to be event. He's going to have to go and fight sand people one
right,
day.
right. There's going to be side
Luke's
things. he
going to
has
get
Yes.
caught by sand people. He's going to have to.
which is in the comics.
he's
going
going
to
to have to. He's going to go and get into a fight at
the bar.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
like
yeah.
at
There's going to be
Mos
cool
Eisley.
side stuff because if you're doing again 8. They're doing 6 episodes, right?
well,
It's not 8.
how many years
six
is it?
ep-
It's 17.
6 or 7 years after 3.
But I'm saying He's
Or
basically, he's basically watching him his whole life, 17 years.
Right.
So Luke's like 7. So it's gonna be.
He's there when he's 7.
No,
no, it's 7 years.
Seven years
Remember,
after
at
3.
the end of 3, he drops off the kids, and then he stays in the desert. This is gonna pick up what 6 or 7 years
I don't
after.
know the time.
I think it's 6 or 7 years after.
Well, isn't he?
7.
Doesn't he go straight there and watch after?
Yes,
him?
but this is gonna pick up. The
It's-
show
it's-
starts 6 or 7 years.
Allegedly.
Right? No, they said it.
Oh, they said.
They've said it. They said this is the timeline. It might be 5. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like it's 5, 6, or 7.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right. So he's already dealing
He's
with.
he's already
the PT
established on Tatooine.
Right. He's established there. They said he's still going through like the PTSD
But this
and
goes
everything.
back to Tim's point: is that can Star Wars survive post Skywalker? And will
That's a great question.
Will there ever be a post Skywalker?
Well,
There will always be
Obi-Wan.
a story. tied
Obi-Wan
to it.
is still tied into it.
That's what I'm saying.
But once Obi-Wan's done, they don't have anything.
yeah, because the
announced.
other shows that they've said
I'm
are like
trying to
Cassian
think.
Andor
Yeah, yeah.
and is there another show?
And who?
No.
And let's be honest, I'm not gonna watch the Cassian Andor show.
I might watch it. I'm like,
I mean,
you gotta
I'll-
show me something.
I'll
cool
watch
first.
the first episode, and if it's like blowing me away,
I've
but
already
I'm not
canceled
gonna
my
keep
Disney
watch.
Plus.
I'm not gonna keep watching.
Yeah, you jumped out.
I've already canceled.
You're gonna finish Mandalorian. Though.
I have it until the 27th. So
Okay, so you'll finish Mandalorian.
We'll get into Obi-Wan another time.
Yeah.
We got a ways to
Once
go
it-
with that.
once it comes
That's
out,
that's literally a year away.
But I'm
yeah.
really hoping. I'm looking forward to that so much. I really am. Mandalorian. Hey, we got to watch the last 2 episodes, and we'll be able to judge it in a complete season.
I'm hoping again. I always try to be an optimist. If the last 2 episodes are fantastic, then I think okay, the show went back up to the next level. Because I'm a little lukewarm on it too. I overall like
You
it.
went down a little bit on it. I
I've
think
gone
everyone,
down.
even South
Yeah,
Park mentioned it.
South Park mentioned it that they said it
Yeah.
started out great and then it kind of went
Yeah.
the toilet a little bit. But
It-
I've been my reviews have been like 8,
It's only
7,
because
6, 6.5. Like I've been varying.
It's because it's not one solid story. It's a breakup. Every episode is its own story.
Yeah, and even
It
yeah, you
doesn't
want
mesh.
yeah, you want to have the overall.
And
So
no
you can
matter
have
how-
the adventure of the week when you do these episodes, when you do these shows of like 22
Yeah,
episodes.
with the cartoons.
Yeah,
How do they
or
tie?
just like those CW shows
Yeah.
or just whatever. When you have 22 episodes to play with, okay, you can do 7 or 8 or 9 adventure of the
But
week.
how do these episodes tie into each other? You know what I mean?
They don't
It's
really.
just-
They
it's just-
don't.
It's just. I don't know, man.
I don't think we're gonna
It's
get
not
it.
for me.
I think there's gonna be like one final cliffhanger.
Oh, well,
that's
they
gonna,
have to
like-
hook you for season 2,
Yeah,
which
it's,
they've already
it's gonna hook
greenlit.
you. It's
so.
gonna be something with.
They're shooting
It's gonna be
season 2
something
now.
with Baby Yoda, obviously. But I don't think we're gonna get find out some massive amount of information.
They're
in
gonna
the last
leave
few
you a
episodes.
cliffhanger
Yeah.
about Baby Yoda.
Like, well, we've seen with the Netflix syndrome, where they always leave you a cliffhanger for the second season.
George Lucas always wanted Yoda's species to be a sequel.
And I still
So,
do. I
it'll
don't.
never.
Well,
we'll
you're gonna
never
you're gonna
know.
learn some stuff.
Some stuff, but
I
I
don't
don't
think
want it
we're
to know.
gonna
I don't
know.
want to know much. I want it to
don't-
be the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, we're not gonna know too much about.
Yeah, it's.
I think season 2 is probably gonna be with Baby Yoda being older. I think they would have to do that.
I think so. I think that'd be the smart
They
thing
would
to
have
do.
to do that.
But the bad thing about that
I
is
think
he
they
goes
will.
nowhere because where is he? Like after 7, 8, where the fuck is he? There's another Yoda out there with immense force powers that just is floating around the galaxy. It's
That's
like,
another problem because he's not in the sequel
Yeah.
Well,
trilogy.
does he survive?
well, that's the question.
Yo, if they kill Baby Yoda in these next 2 episodes, the internet is going to implode.
That takes balls.
They
to do
might-
that.
That would be ballsy
They have
as
to
fuck.
explain. They have to. Whenever this show's over, they have to explain why he's not around anymore. Like,
There has to be something.
but anyway,
But before we wrap up, I do want to ask you guys. Speaking of the future of Star Wars, did you guys hear what Kathleen Kennedy said yesterday about the
don't know.
future?
I don't
She basically in so many words, and again, we know she's not going to be around in a couple
future's
years.
female.
She said the future is female. She said,
Oh, okay.
she said that, and then she said that they're not really gonna do trilogies anymore. Like Star Wars doesn't have to be a trilogy. It doesn't have to be these story arcs. It can just be solo stories. And I'm like, yo, you don't have to do like 10, 11, and 12. But she said like, oh, we can just do our own thing and just have open-ended stories. We don't have to be locked into a structure of 3 stories and 3 and a
That's why
trilogy.
she won't be there.
I'm like, yo, don't say that. Like,
That's why she won't
like
be
you
there.
got to do an overarching story. You can't just say like we're gonna do one Star Wars movie about this thing and then do like you want to have a
I
connected.
don't-
You want to have
I-
some connective tissue.
I don't think
And
we're. I don't think we're ever gonna get 10, 11, and 12.
2
I-
years
I
ago,
think-
2 years ago, I would have swore to you up and down, which I think I did on one of our shows, that you were getting 10, 11, and 12. Now I don't think you're really getting. I don't think.
I would say it's gonna be at least a decade,
Really.
at least 10 years before
Well,
that
that's
you'd
how
even
Star Wars has always
hear it.
been. Think about
And
it.
they're gonna. I think they're gonna have trouble. I think once they're underestimating going away from the Luke, Darth
Skywalker.
Vader, Palpatine,
The
Jedi.
Skywalker saga, yeah.
I think they're gonna have trouble.
You've been saying that.
I don't because
It could be a problem going forward.
is.
But we
I
don't know.
really believe that.
I do too.
Just by watching Mandalorian.
Me too. I do
Just by
too.
watching this, I'm like, I know,
And-
I know it's not for me.
Old
anyways,
Republic.
And
though.
s-
Old Republic.
Old
could-
Republic they could
we
hit.
all want Old
Yeah.
Republic.
Okay, well,
But yeah.
Let's tie the last 10 minutes in with whatever we have, 8 minutes with 9, because we're going to see it. in
Okay,
2
so we're going
48 hours.
48 hours away. The embargo. Everyone on the West Coast is
Is
seeing the
watching
premiere
the movie
tonight.
right
They're
now?
literally, I think they're literally
Okay.
watching the
Fuck
movie
off.
right now.
I'm gonna go watch some reviews.
The social
See,
media. Well,
I'm
here's the
not
thing.
gonna do
It's not
that.
reviews yet. The social media embargo is 1:00 in the morning tonight.
Meaning, what you could just post a tweet about.
Yeah, you can just talk. You can't review the movie. You
We
can
could just say
you-
like,
your
I really
thoughts.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, your thoughts. So that's 1:00 in the morning tonight, and then then the reviews I believe are Wednesday night, I think, or Wednesday early
And you
morning.
can
I'm not sure, but
review it
it's
with
on Wednesday. And you can review it
non-spoiler.
on Wednesday. Yeah, you can do it on
Non-spoiler review on
Yes, and then we're going Thursday night, so we're gonna have all the information.
I guess I got to stay
Yeah,
off
so-
Twitter for the next 3 days.
Well, you can listen to the social media embargo reactions tonight at 1:00 in the morning. Like
They're just gonna say, "I fucking
people are
hate
gonna
this
say
movie,
I
that's
hated.
really good."
So that's how we knew that. Because just to show you, that's how we knew the Rose and Finn thing wasn't gonna be good. Because in the social media embargoes, they were saying like, "Oh yeah, the movie's overall good. We like it. It's fun. But the Rose Finn story, the Canto Bight, doesn't go anywhere." You can say stuff like that, but you can't say I really hated this movie. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10.
I can't believe we're here, man.
No, but you can say I didn't
know.
like it.
You could say there's certain things you didn't like, but you can't say I did not like this movie. I'm giving it a 5 out of 10.
Okay, you
Like,
can't.
you
review
can't.
it.
You got to be general and vague with your tweets. And so
Well, that's what
that's what tonight
That's
is.
how I knew going in. The last minute going into 8, I was worried because everyone came out and said, guys,
What they say?
chill
Like,
with your expectations on this because you really might like it or you really. They were like, we can see a lot of Star Wars fans not loving this movie.
And that should have been a red. That should.
It was for me. I
that
fucking.
should've-
I think I said it.
no,
I'm
you
like,
did.
yo.
No, you did. I didn't want. Listen, I'll admit, I didn't want to hear it.
I was like,
That
yo,
should've
I'm
been a
hearing
freaking red
we
flag,
might not
man.
like this shit.
Yeah.
That should have been a red flag.
Anyway, all right.
Guys, any final thoughts? We've got 2
9.
days away. It's been 4 years in the making. We started
We
this in
hope you all
2015.
enjoy it. I hope
in
you enjoy the
2019.
movie. I don't think it's gonna be great.
I think it's going to be great. I'm holding
I
out
know-
hope.
I don't think it's
in
gonna
the
be
last minute, last few minutes, the ending is what's worrying. The ending's what's worrying me.
I agree. It's very hard. They said it's going
How-
to have a decisive ending, but it's going to be some stuff is going to be
How
open.
do they kill
It needs
Palpatine?
to be decisive.
How do they kill Palpatine? Who kills Palpatine?
Mm-hmm.
And again, if it's Rey is she's finally the Jedi. Luke couldn't do it. Anakin, she's finally the
Yeah,
one that
I'm not-
destroys the Sith and
that-
destroys Palpatine.
Yeah.
Isn't that a problem?
That's a problem. That's a problem, and Rey's parents being revealed, or whoever she is going to be a problem. They better execute that properly, because a lot of the
Oh,
options that we've
dude.
discussed, whether it be Luke or Obi-Wan or
Well,
Palpatine,
are they
or
gonna cover
whatever.
up
From the
how
leak,
they-
I'm not gonna say it. I know what it is. I don't know if it's true or not. Again, it's.
He's worried. He's got the shake of that
It's
head. He's
worried
shaking
because
his
I don't.
head.
I feel like they're gonna tell you, but then they're not gonna explain how it happened.
See,
Like-
that's a problem. Okay, so
Well, they had the fucking chance to
like
set it
they
up.
could say anyone. I'm not. This is not it. But let's say Obi-Wan is her dad, and they just tell like.
yeah,
but
yeah,
then
yeah.
have,
Then I need a half-hour explanation.
That's what I'm
That's just not what you're
saying.
not going to get. You'll get it in a comic book.
Exactly. So that's the
Alright,
problem.
yeah.
I'm worried about the ending,
Yeah,
and
I
I
agree
don't
with
want
that.
there to be every Force goes in history.
Yeah,
comes
all-
back
all-
and,
that, that's
Jedi
that is what
unite
I'm
and fucking
envisioning.
Avengers assemble.
Avengers
Qui-Gon and
that's
fucking
cheesy.
Yoda and
Yeah,
Anakin.
that's
I
what
want
I'm-
to see Hayden though. I want to see Hayden Christensen. I think we all agree. I want to see him.
Look,
He's.
that's not-
I'm gonna say Hayden's not in the movie.
I'm gonna say he has to be in this. He better be in this movie. He better be. He better be. I want to see Hayden. But all right, guys. So we've all voiced our pleasures and displeasures with this film, or what we think is gonna be in the film.
I can't believe it's here.
I can't believe it's here either.
it's
Yeah.
can't fucking
finally,
believe it's here.
dude, it's the end
It's
of
the-
this.
It went
It's
quick
the
because
end of
I
this.
wasn't hyped
went
about
quick.
it that much. I was like,
Think
whatever.
about it, It started with in the fucking 70s, man. It's the end.
That's the
It's
end.
either gonna Jay's either gonna be a savior or he's either gonna be
or the sacrificial
I
lamb.
have
or
full
Star
faith
Wars. If this
in
movie
him. Make it a
movie
good movie.
is not well received, Star Wars is done.
Oof, going out on
That's
that ballsy
balls.
statement
Star Wars
to
is
end.
done.
I don't agree with that, but let's. I'll.
It's
I
gonna
won't
take a
refute it.
big hit.
I will double down on that.
That's
with him.
that's it.
If 9 is 8,
Oh, then you might as well
If
just
9 is 8, it's
jump off a
over.
cliff.
The thumbnail, Danny, should be Dark Side. versus the light.
if 9
I'll
is
be the
if,
F
if 9 is
if
8,
9 is received how 8 was received, you don't think that they're basically sell the stock?
oh my, it's gonna be a disaster. It will be a train wreck disaster.
Yeah.
I agree. All right, guys. Well, what a way to end it. On doom and gloom. But all right, guys. Listen, we hope you've
Enjoy the
enjoyed our
movie, guys.
podcast, our first episode of the Movies Don't Suck podcast. We will be back next week. Obviously, we'll have our full impressions and review of everything that we saw. And we will see you next time.
See you
All
later,
right,
guys.
guys. Take care.